not going to work out. Okay? Life don't work out on hope. Be very intentional on what you do, know why you're doing it, and the greatest recruiting tool and the greatest reminder of what we do is the leaderboard. Stay plugged into the leaderboard, because I don't think anybody in sales, this is a sales industry, it's a servant type industry. Every one of you love people, or else you wouldn't be here, right? So if you love people and you can go present to them at the table and take care of them, then you can do the same thing from the hiring standpoint. And when I'm on an interview with somebody, cold market or warm, it doesn't matter. I always say that from the front. It's part of my follow-up process. I especially use cold market. So I literally will tell them, so you responded to an ad, and I go through the process, say, look, we're going to continue to run these ads in your backyard, because we have more people responding via our lead program than what we do agents or brokers taking care of them. And so we have a program that we have a leadership and training type program that you can benefit from. Now I understand, so I call this a box in, right? So I just asked you guys up front, if you're not building, it's a self-image issue. So if we already know, Brig, that it's a self-image issue, that they've been burnt, or they haven't had success, or whatever their scenario may be. They're looking for a chance, they're looking for a way. They believe if they're ready to move forward, Greg, they believe that you're the one that's going to be able to lead them to where they're trying to get. That's the only reason why somebody would come. Spencer said it best in the beginning, we're all here to get paid, right? So every one of us came here to get paid. We come into this type of a meeting to be educated so that we can be equipped to have more confidence to go out and make more money. So from a hiring standpoint, it's the exact same thing. If somebody is moving and making a decision to move with you, are you selling and puking all over them about how they can be successful here, about how awesome we are? Or are you breaking down what the reality and what their schedule and things like that are going to look like? I think if you're hiring 20, 25 people, running interviews, and you get 1 or 2 or 3 people move forward, I think that it's low on the numbers, but that would still be okay. Because if I was to hire 25 people a month, anybody in here could hire 25 people a month. It's kind of like, again, the sales side. If we're running insurance appointments and you're doing 25 a week, and you have a bad week and you sold 3, you still made $3,000, $4,000 on a bad week. But you're giving yourself a chance through work ethic at 25 appointments that next week you might get 15. At the end of the day, if you understand big picture, the reason I talk about love and trust is it's about accountability. So if you're going to build a business, if you're out selling, see, some people, and I've had conversations, Gavin, you and I have talked about this, recruiting can feel exhausting and taxing sometimes, and it's because of improper expectations. It's because we're looking for some gain quickly. We're looking to make some money, that's why we're building a business, we're hungry. If you're out selling at the clip that you're capable of selling, every one of you are capable of selling just like Jessica did last week. Incredible week. 6, 7 weeks into the business, she can repeat it next week. Brad, same thing. See, there's all kinds of numbers. Dean, there's all kinds of you in here that are having success. So if you have that type of success on the sales side, then it can be duplicated. You just have to set the proper expectations up front. So if you're selling and paying your bills and making your money, now your focus gets to be genuinely from your heart. How can I help you get better, Greg? How can I help you make the money that you need to make? So I get to pay my bills off of my own production, so I'm not depending on any new agent, warm market or cold. Does that make sense? So the reason I want you to understand that is when I'm doing an interview and a follow-up, I get people started quickly on questions I already know why they would say no, they don't want to. So if I hired somebody, Brig, we'll use you as an example. So if I'm doing a follow-up interview with you, Brig, and I'm going through, the first thing I'm going to do is set the expectations of your schedule. The reason I'm going to set it on your schedule is if we tell somebody in 14 days you go complete your class, or in 10 days or 21 days, and we're frustrated because nobody's completing the class in a timely manner, it's because we didn't dig down to find out what position they're currently in. Do they have a job of 40 or 50 hours? Are they a single parent? What does their schedule look like? Because what happens is they know they want and need something, but what do I do? See, so I let them know, look, you sound like you could be great, Brig. You could be a great partner, but is it the right time for you? And here's why I ask that. If your job's 45, 50 hours, you know you need more. See, most people in this industry, if companies are out there telling you, now I say this on a follow-up interview, because if they're interviewing with us, they're probably interviewing with somebody else too, right? So if they're hiring a bunch of part-time agents, there's a problem with that, because it means there's a bunch of broke agents. Nobody in this industry that's commission only can live off of part-time income. So let's squash that, and let's figure out how we can turn this into a transition, into a career transition. This is what it looks like. What income are you currently making? Is it enough to pay your bills? Do you just want to change because you don't like what you're doing, or do you need to make more money? This is the money you need to make. You need to make $8,000 a month, okay? This is the workload that goes along with that. This is the lead flow you would need to do. Do you have money to buy leads? No, I don't, okay? So then you're going to need to commit that the first policy that you write, 100% of that has to go into your business, into leads. You can't use it to pay bills. See, FFL didn't create the situation you're in, but we can help you get out of it quickly. Does that make sense? Okay. Now look, I'm running ads in your area. Now you can participate in this agency leader scenario, because it sounds like you have leadership qualities, okay? So if we partner together and we run, are there any other sharp people, maybe 3, 4 people you know, 5 people that you know, that are sharp like you, that are hungry like you, that I would feel like would be a good decision to move forward with like I do you? Okay? So if you ask them out of the beginning, then they're going to say, well, I don't even know the products yet. I don't even know if I'm going to have success at this yet. No, I got you. This is where this is a push-pull relationship, right? Is you're trusting me with you, then you have to trust me with them too. And the great thing is it takes all the pressure off of you now. See, if you wait 2 months and you don't make the money that you expect to make, and I think you will, but if you don't, then nobody's going to follow you. Because they have a relationship with you. They're your warm market. They don't know me. But if you're here too long, 2, 3, 4 months, your warm market's going to be watchers at best. Because they got to watch you because you're the correlation to FFL. Does that make sense? So warm market's going to be a relationship scenario unless you allow me to do it early. And here's the cool thing. When I'm doing a follow-up interview with them, Brig, I get to tell them, look, these are the questions you're going to have. Brig thought enough of you to give you the opportunity out of the gate because I'm running ads right now in the area, and he didn't want you to miss out on the opportunity that he's grateful for. So I'm asking you this. None of us want to be micromanaged. I don't want to micromanage you, Brig. But I do know that your success, no matter how successful you are in your past, your success for a smooth transition is going to depend on me micromanaging you for 3, 4 weeks, and then it'll become more of a mentoring type relationship. Can you commit to allowing me to micromanage you, being coachable enough to get what you want to get? See, so he committed to that. He committed to the schedule. He committed to the hours. Now let's say he's non-licensed. You're working 45, 50 hours a week. You commute an hour each way. Brig, it's going to require you about 40 hours to get a license. Now we're going to give you a scholarship. We're going to cover that license. But you're not going to pass it the first time if you don't knock it out with a sense of urgency. Do you have any holiday time or PTO time built up that you could take 3 or 4 days off? Do you? You do not. No? Okay. So if he did in that scenario, I'll have him take 2 or 3 days off on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so it gives him 5, 6 days in a row. And I say, now look, is there any reason why you wouldn't put in 8 or 10 hours a day the same way you are at your job right now anyway? Because I just found 8 or 9 hours on 3 shifts in a row, knock out some on the weekend, and we're booking in like 5 days. You got a better chance passing it the first time if you cram it because it's a lot of information. So I ask them that. If they're not willing to do that, then I'm like, look, this might not be the right time for you because we can't take 2 months at an hour here and an hour there and an hour here. You're going to have to do something grossly above and beyond if you want more. What do I mean by that? If you're working 10-hour shifts, you're going to have to be willing to get up at 4 or 5 in the morning and work for an hour and a half on your course before you go to work. Come home dinner, your wife can make dinner, and you're going to have to stay up until midnight and do 3 or 4 hours because you've got to make it a priority or else it's not going to work out. Is there any reason why you wouldn't do that? Can you commit to that? See, these are the type of questions. If they don't understand the schedule, guys and gals, understand some of you might be in that boat. Some of you might have a job right now. You might be working 30 or 40 hours and you want this so badly. And you see people up here making $15,000 a week, $8,000 a week. And you're like, man, I'd like to just make $2,000 or $3,000 a week. But you're trying to figure it out. You're trying to figure it out in your schedule. It's not necessarily a commitment of purchasing the leads, a desire, knowledge. What it is it's commitment to your schedule. Sometimes you got to do above and beyond in order to make that transition. Does that make sense? Leads are a guarantee. If you don't purchase leads, there's no way you're going to make any money in this business. Many of you, if you were hiring somebody, you'd be scared to tell them that. Many of you aren't purchasing enough leads to be successful yourself, so there's no wonder why you wouldn't talk about leads to somebody out of the gate. Okay? It's those types of statements that you should and need to be saying on a follow-up interview. And that's how you dig into somebody's warm market. And then I'll say this last thing and we'll wrap this up. Is to be a sales manager, how much is you paid dollars? Anybody? Any of you new people who aren't building? What's the issue paid dollars monthly for that? $50,000, exactly. So if the average agent's doing, $10,000, $12,000 in their first, say 60 days a month, if you're not doing that, you need to talk to whoever you're working with because you need to readjust that really quickly. Because if not, you're not profitable enough and you won't be here at the next meeting. And we love you and we want you to be successful, and $8,000 or $10,000 a month is not going to cut it for any of us in here, okay? So you need to get your heads together with whoever you're working with and get committed on that. So I can appreciate the lead credit and the lead stuff like that. Most people, they don't do what they need to do when you give them free stuff. You give them a free voucher to pass the course and they take 2 months to knock it out. You make them pay for it, maybe they move faster. We choose to do that for everybody in here. Most of you have probably gotten that free voucher if you're not licensed. So maybe you do a lead match for them. If we know goals are, in 2 weeks, maybe we make the goal 7 to 10 days. And we show them what that schedule has to look like and get them committed, knowing they're not going to get it done in 7 days anyway. But 7 days becomes 10 to 12 if they miss the target. Does that make sense? 14 to 21 days might become 30 days and you become frustrated. The other thing is to stay very consistent and stay in your schedule. This is something you heard Dana say. She posts 3 ads every single day. So if you're focused on building the business and you're doing it out of love and long-term goal for yourself and for other people, then you be consistent to that activity because you're not expecting to get any money out of it. Not now. Because you're out on enough leads and enough appointments and enough sales to make the money you need to make on your own pen. See, the last thing I'll leave you with is this, 3 C's, cash flow, confidence, and credibility. If your cash flow ain't there, they know it. They're never going to follow somebody that they don't trust can get them where they need to get. The leaderboard, that's credibility. The leaderboard is also confidence. It's confidence for yourself because you're on it, but it's confidence for your peers in here out of respect, and it's confidence for your new team. Because those members are looking at you because they want more, and they believe in the beginning off of your conversation you're going to be able to get them there. But it doesn't take very long to sniff out somebody who's faking it. Does that make sense? So everybody in here needs to up your commitment to leads. The last thing I would say is this. The cash flow and the confidence go hand in hand. And it goes on activity. If you want to run this and be successful, you need to do the 50-50 split. You have to be profitable in this business weekly. Purchasing leads day in and day out. If you get paid, here's what I tell all new people, because I did not make it, I've made this mistake grossly for years in this business. I will buy leads as I needed them, instead of running like a business and buying them every time it come in. So brand new agents, so that you don't head fake yourself and you don't fail the way that some of us have failed. See, some of us just got harder heads. So we just keep doing the same thing and make it. We're trying to help you by not doing the same thing. So on your leads, if you get deposited, and I make this statement on my follow-up interview, if you get deposited $10, $100, or $10,000 today, you need to put 50% of it in your business. If you have no money, you need to take your first policy or two, 100% of them have to be leads. Does that make sense? Many of you did not raise your hands on building a business. Most of you, it's because you're not having success yet, or you're a little uncertain about how much you have to help that new person. You don't have to. Family First Life, it's very intentional, it's very systematic. Y'all are benefiting from a lot of different personalities that are having success in here because we're one unified system. So trust the system is going to help you build, because you would hate to show up in a meeting like this, the next one you come to, and see a neighbor, a buddy, or a family member because you weren't confident enough to let them know what it is that you do. That's it.